Hi, it's time for another verb of the day. Today's verb is punish. Let's take a look at some of the definitions or ways that we use this verb. The first way you might hear punish used is to mean to cause a penalty to be imposed on someone for breaking a legal or moral code. So sometimes you'll hear this verb used in conjunction with trials. When someone has been convicted of a crime, they will have some sort of penalty placed on them for breaking the law. A second way you'll hear punish used is to mean to treat someone in an unfair or harsh way. So this less about like legality, but again, maybe just being sort of cruel or hard on someone. A third way you might hear punish used is to mean to subject someone or something to rather rough or severe treatment. Sometimes this verb is used in connection to sports, and maybe the style of play being really physical and rough, or just one team maybe being a lot better than another, and so you might hear something like they're punishing them, this other team. So kind of this idea they're beating them so badly, they're treating them roughly and severe. You should know that punish is a regular verb. To make the progressive tense, all you need to do is add ing to form punishing. The past tense and participle forms of this verb are made by adding ed. The base verb punish ends with that sh sound. So our past tense ending, our ed, is going to make a t sound. Punished, punished. Now let's spend a couple minutes looking at phrasal verbs with punish. We're going to look at 3 today: punish by, punish for, and punish with. What you're going to see here is that the meanings are all very close or very similar. They're just small differences in each of these. So my example sentences are really going to take the same idea and just present it 3 different ways. So hopefully that makes it a little bit easier. So when you hear the phrasal verb punish by, it means to do something as a way of penalizing or disciplining someone. So here's an example sentence. The teacher punished disruptive students by giving them detention, right? So the to do something here is giving them detention. When you see this phrasal verb or hear it being used, punish by, it's really common to see a gerund after it. So that ing form, giving here might look like a verb, but it's functioning like a noun in this sentence. The second phrasal verb here, punish for, right? Here again, we are penalizing or disciplining someone for a crime, a mistake, something wrong that they have done. So what's going to come after our preposition for, sorry, couldn't find the word there. What's coming after the for is sort of the crime, the mistake, the error, whatever it may be. So here, again, same idea. The teacher punished the students for being disruptive in class. And again, we're going to see a gerund very, very commonly after this. For, here was their mistake. Maybe they broke rules related to talking in class or talking while the teacher was talking, being on their phones, who knows, right? Could be many different things. The last phrasal verb we'll look at here, punish with, again, we're talking about penalizing or disciplining someone, but what's going to come after our preposition with here is a particular action or outcome, okay? So again, we'll take the same example. The teacher punished the disruptive students with detention, right? So after this with, we get sort of the penalty, the action, right, that they are receiving as a penalty or as discipline. Hope that helps you see kind of small differences, but essentially all three sentences here are really communicating the same ideas or the same information. Now let's continue practicing our verb of the day in a couple different verb tenses. Today we're going to look at the present progressive and the simple future. Let's start with the present progressive. And I've made a note here that some people refer to this as the present continuous, means the same thing. This particular verb tense is talking about something that is happening now or something that is in progress. We need two parts to make the present progressive in the affirmative. We need a form of be in the present tense, so that's going to be am, is, or are. And then we need that ing form of the verb. Let's look at our affirmative example. Europe is punishing the UK for leaving the European Union. Okay, so you can see those two parts there. Europe is, so it is because our subject here is singular. And then we've got our ing form of the verb. I borrowed this sentence from an article that was looking at different laws, rules, regulations, and how those are affecting the United Kingdom. So we won't get into too many examples of how, but it's that idea of sort of treating harshly. That's the particular usage here. Now, if you want to make a negative present progressive sentence, we need to insert not after our be verb. Okay? So we can use am not, and then that ing form, is not, then that ing form, or are not, and the ing form. Here's an example. We aren't punishing the wrong people. Right? We can see all of those elements there, and I'll note are not, aren't, they mean the same thing. You can use whatever makes you comfortable. Lastly, let's say you want to make a yes or no question in the present progressive. You want to start with your form of be, then we'll have our subject, and then that ing form of the verb. Are officials punishing players for dangerous tackles? So the sentence could be talking about football, kind of from an international standpoint, could be talking about American football more specifically. But again, looking for that idea of penalizing someone for breaking a rule. Now let's take a look at our simple future. Today we're going to use will and our base verb to make future sentences. And the nice thing about this structure is that it is the same no matter what our subject is. So let's take a look at that affirmative. This new law will punish the poor. So again, if we think back to that definition of sort of unfair treatment, that sentence is something that I'm sure hundreds, if not thousands, of politicians have said in their lifetime as they try and advocate for particular new laws or against proposed legislation. Now, if you want to make a negative simple future sentence, use will not and then the base verbs. Here's an example. The league won't punish athletes who protest. So, in the last year, we have seen many athletes be more vocal about certain social issues, causes, politics in some senses, and so many athletic leagues have had to sort of decide how they're going to react or treat their athletes who are protesting certain policies, etc. Okay. Last sentence. Let's make our yes or no question in the simple future. To do this, we'll start with will, then we'll have our subject, then the base verb. Will teachers punish students if they catch them cheating? Right? So we can respond either yes, they will, no, they won't to this particular sentence. Now let's spend just a couple minutes looking at words that are related to our verb punish. The first word we're going to look at today is the noun punishment. This can have a couple different meanings. One would be sort of the creation of a penalty for an offense and imposing that penalty on someone. An example, The punishment for speeding is a $150 fine, right? So in some cases, if you're speeding 10 miles an hour or more over the speed limit, this might be the penalty you receive for breaking the law. A second way you might hear the noun punishment used is to refer to rough treatment or rough handling that's suffered by a person or a thing. An example of that: be gentle. This machine can't take much punishment, right? So maybe someone's kind of shaking, moving things, again, kind of like really physically, roughly handling something. In this case, we could refer to that activity as punishment. Another related word is the adjective punishing. This can be physically and or mentally demanding. Here's an example. The athletes just completed a punishing workout. So maybe it's really hot outside, they had to run a lot, they had to lift a lot. That would all maybe seem more physical, demanding, but who knows what other coaches were saying or doing. There could have been a mentally demanding portion of the workout too. The last word we're going to look at today is the adjective punishable, right? And you can see that suffix able, right? So you might be kind of thinking, oh, this is able to be punished, which is a good way to think of it. If we look in a dictionary, though, you're likely going to see subject to judicial punishment. So we can think of this as a court is able to punish someone for something. So a way you might hear this: this offense is punishable by up to 10 years in prison, right? So this crime or offense, another way to say it, right, is subject to a 10-year prison sentence. That's essentially what it means. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope you have a great day.